Hi everyone, my name is Melanie Bonet. I'm an energetics guide. You are feeling stressed, possibly, and anxious, which is probably why you clicked this video, so I'll get right to it because I like to help with that. First things first, you will get the best experience, a more deeper, richer experience, if you lay down flat. Excuse me, while you do this meditation. Specifically, your spine needs to be straight. You can lay it on a bed, sofa, or floor. And if you can't lay down, preferably in a chair, sit in a chair where your spine is allowed to be straight and you can lean back and not be trying to hold your body up in any way, shape, or form, because you want to be able to be completely relaxed in this meditation. So, I'll give you a few seconds to get settled so we can get started. So, you're lying down. You are closing your eyes. And I want you to begin breathing deeply in and out through your nose. Slowly, deeply. And as you're breathing, I want you to fully let yourself relax, let go, settle on the surface you're in as if you had just come home from work, school, whichever, and you just collapse on your favorite thing you like to collapse on. So you're just letting your shoulders relax, your neck muscles relax, your fingers, thumbs, your back, your lower back, your legs, and whatever part of the body that you are very much aware of that you notice tension. You know, some people grab their thumbs within their fingers, like a fist. Some people tense their jaw. And sometimes because of tensing of the jaw, you get pressure behind your eyes. I want you to imagine that you can, with your breath, and in this moment, allow yourself to relax your jaw, relax behind your eyes. Relax, relax, relax. Give yourself permission to just sink into your bed, your sofa, your chair. Breathing deeply. And then I want you to bring your internal gaze. You know, your eyes are closed and you're bringing your internal gaze to the aspect of you that is an energetic channel. The part of that really is the channel. And that's along your spine, which has a midline all along it. And that midline goes straight up into the heavens and straight down into the core of the earth. So if you got the spine holding you up, it goes from where your neck and head connects down to your tailbone. You've got the midline in front of that. You've got your vagus nerve along the part of that, upper part of that. All that area of you is where you can source power. It's where you are literally connected above and below into yourself. And so I want you to bring your internal gaze to your midline and know that this is where in this pathway, this channel, this is where you communicate or can communicate with your spirit guides, with Source, with God, with yourself, your higher self, as well as Mother Earth. It's also where your ancestors can communicate with you as well. So give presence to that part of you. You know, imagine you've just walked into a room where you pretty much know everybody, or you know that you're going to be welcomed, and you know that you're probably going to feel really good being in that space. Just give presence. It doesn't have to be verbal in any way, shape, or form. This is all internal work. And so you're aware of your midline. And in that awareness, I want you to go down your spine, down your midline, to your tailbone. And at your tailbone is the root chakra. And from your tailbone extends energetic roots that connect with the earth that you walk on. And so I want you to imagine that now, in this moment, you become aware and can internally see golden roots extending from your root chakra, from your tailbone, through the surface you're in, laying on, through the structure you're in, through the earth, through the different layers of the earth, until you reach the core. So you're with these roots that have gone, that you followed them down, and then know that you're not the only person who does this. In meditation, you're also not the only person who does this unconsciously. Because part of our beingness on this planet is the energetic flow and exchange with the earth. The reason we're not floating above the earth is because of that energetic exchange that is partially gravity. It kind of helps us stick to it, literally. So you're aware that you're not the only one doing this. So down there is kind of community in a sense. You're seeing everybody else's roots. You're seeing how they exist beyond their human form down there. And you're aware that all of those roots that you may sense that exist all around you down there are all flowing. In some cases, channel has to be open on the regular to deal with whatever's going on in their lives. But you're not alone down there. And in the being down there, this is grounding. This is where you get that thing we talk about when we say grounding into the core of the earth, getting the comfort, the settling, as if you know you're accepted. And in the resonating with that knowingness that this is a place where you can settle and ground who you are, be connected to something beyond your human form. Imagine that feeling, that sensation, that energy, and bringing it up with you as you bring your internal gaze up through the earth's layers, through the structure you're in, through the surface you're laying on, and into your body through your root chakra, through your tailbone. And it comes through and it moves up your midline, all the way up, and sort of comes to the top of your head at your crown chakra. And I want you to imagine that this flow of energy is possibly swirling. Maybe it has a pearl-ish aspect of itself. Different colors of white, maybe hints of gold. And that's flowing up and down your body. And now I want you to bring your awareness to your heart. And as you come to this area, to your heart area, with your internal gaze, I want you to give yourself grace. Because chances are there are emotions there that are connected to anxiety and stress. And I want you to be in a place or space of acceptance. And we're not going to judge. We're not going to be fretful and grasp for release and for it to go away. What we're doing is we're giving presence and acknowledgement that the emotions exist in your body. So I want you to breathe, and I want you to just observe, non-judgmentally, that the fear may be there, the stress may be there, and that's okay. You're breathing. And I want you to imagine while you're in presence with your heart and knowing that these emotions may be there, I want you to imagine that your midline and that flow of energy from the earth up into your crown chakra. Imagine that channel expands itself, because maybe when you first imagine it, it's just this small column of energy that exists all along your spine. But now I want you to expand that column of energy out. Expand it 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 inches. So that that column almost takes up all of your body. That column, imagine your whole body is like within this beam of light and energy. Which means now your heart and these emotions are inside this column. And you're breathing, and you're cultivating acceptance. If it's hard, just simply accept. And you're being kind. And maybe you allow some of that swirling energy to swirl into your heart and around these emotions with love, with acceptance. And you allow those emotions, because they're not being judged, they're not being demanded to go away. You're not pleading for them to go away. And so they have an opportunity to simply be without you adding to them every moment, because the challenges still occur. So that swirl of energy is moving in around all those feelings, swirling all around your heart, and you're just letting it. You're accepting it. And yes, you can ask for ease, and you can ask for release. But we, in this process, we have no expectations. Because the things that occur to us in our lives that are stressful, that cause us to be anxious, they happen sometimes because there are things that we need to give presence to. And at the same time, we have to allow ourselves to have the emotions that are normal reactions to the human challenges and chaos that we witness and experience. And I'm going to repeat myself when I say this. Your anxiety and your stress is a normal reaction to some of what's going on. What we're trying to do in this meditation is allow the energies of these emotions to just be accepted, which then opens the door for them to swirl, express, and in time run their course. Because if it hasn't been made, if you haven't been made aware, a lot of times the reason why we constantly experience anxiety and get stressed out by certain things is because of our expectations and because we want things to be different than they are, which creates strings that tie some of these emotions to us for a while. And so I invite you to be in a mode of acceptance and observance, almost as if you're watching a child who's upset and just needs someone to sit next to them as they settle, as their fear lessens, as they recognize that they're not alone and that someone is there to offer comfort and presence, which we all need way more than we allow in our lives. And so maybe there's been some ease in your heart. And if there hasn't, that's okay. Because the act of doing this type of guided meditation with someone else, because time is not linear. If you're listening to a recording, it's like we're doing it at the same time. like I'm doing it live and you're here with me. That's how things really are. And so you can allow yourself to meet up with these emotions. Give them grace, give yourself grace, and know that if you don't feed them with your expectations, with your demands, and your needs for something to be other than the reality that it is, then you allow them to dissipate and alchemize possibly into energy that you can use to create whichever you want, whichever and whatever you want for your life. And so in this time spent at our heart, I want you to take a deep breath. Actually, 3 deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose slowly. It's okay to have these emotions. They're not the entirety of who you are, and they won't always be here. Too much is changing for humanity and for you, for this to be always who you are and what you experience. So breathe. And then I want you to bring your awareness back to your midline. And use whatever visuals work for you, whatever sensations work for you. But imagine in the flow of energy that has gone up and down your midline, bring your internal gaze up to your crown chakra. And you feel the swirl there. And then I want you to invite that swirl to go beyond the top of your head and up and up and up, as far as your imagination and beyond. You're going through the clouds, go through the structure in the clouds, beyond the clouds, into the Milky Way, to the cosmos. And I want you to imagine connecting with that thing up there, consciousness and stars and heavens, whichever you prefer to call that. And you're connecting with that part of the system of our beingness as humans. And so you're swirling up there, your energy is swirling up there, and then you boomerang right back down through your crown chakra, down, all the way down to your tailbone, and then bring it back up to your heart. And know that this is an aspect of yourself that is always here. And the more you give regular time and practice to spending time with that aspect of who you are, the more you are able to cultivate a core strength in the face of whatever your experience. Because who you are at this space, this channel, is bigger and broader than the things that happen to you as a human. And the act of doing this type of connecting with yourself, allowing someone else to guide you through the process so that you don't have to mentally think, interplay of working with a guide, working in a collective group, each of us getting in touch with our energetic channel, getting in touch with the emotions that rest and settle in parts of our bodies because of trauma, stress, anxiety, sadness, or grief. All those things are part of who we are. But when you work in a group and we're all working there, there's something about our interconnectivity when we do this with another person, with a group, that invites more healing, more expansive experiences. It invites an expanding of consciousness for all involved. And it really helps you tap into unity consciousness. And it really hits at that part of living in the United States, if you live in the United States, that tells us to, tap into rugged individualism. When we really could benefit from and where we really can thrive from is collectively and energetically being with one another as we heal ourselves, alchemize energies that are there to be alchemized. And maybe somebody's in the group that is a stronger presence for peace. Maybe there's somebody in the group who's developed a very good muscle at bringing in healing energy. Maybe there's somebody in the group who has a similar experience as you, but maybe they're further down the road. And so they've learned how to get to a place of peace and acceptance. And I share that with you to invite you to consider working with a guide, and specifically working in a group that's guided to meditate this way, so that you get in touch with your body, which then allows you to get in touch with your energy body, which then, this is the energetics that I speak of, and it's why I'm an energetics guide, because I have a knowingness that connecting regularly this way with ourselves and with each other is the way through much of what's coming down the pipe for humanity right now. And so I want you to take a deep breath and bring your awareness to different parts of your body now as we come back and settle back into our bodies. You feel your fingertips, your forehead, your shoulders, your neck. Your back, your legs, your toes. And just allow yourself to just be with whatever came up for you. I hope you experienced some stillness. I hope some of the anxiety faded a bit or more for you, in terms of taking the time to give yourself a chance for that to happen. Thank you for joining in on this meditation. If it offered you any good, I invite you to hit the like button below and consider subscribing. And if you look into the description, you'll find out how to contact me if you'd like to work with me, because I am cultivating, this is a new business for me. I still have a full-time job, and I'm turning this into this thing that I feel like I'm meant to do. And I am going to be having groups. There's even a sample, there will be sample meditations beyond this one on my school platform, and I'll be guiding groups soon. So look below for the information, and thank you for listening in and taking care of yourself. All right, goodbye, till next time.